Dear friends, this is episode number 75. In the last episode, I cited a decision, Nair Service Society versus K.C. Alexander, AER 1968 Supreme Court, 1165. What was held in that case is that the position has been made clear, interpreting the articles 64 and 65, present articles 64 and 65. In a suit for possession based on possessory title, under Article 64, the plaintiff will be entitled to succeed as against all persons except the true owner. Whereas under Section 6 of the Specific Relief Act, if the plaintiff proves prior possession and dispossession within 6 months of the suit, and such dispossession is otherwise than in due course of law, he will be entitled to recover possession, notwithstanding that the defendant may be the true owner. The onus of proof is on the defendant to prove that he has got better title to the property than the plaintiff in suits under Article 64. Decision Nair Service Society. I will explain. I am sure that you have not fully understood it. See, Article 64, suit based on previous possession and not on title. A is in possession. He has no title. Title is with the X. But A is in possession. While so, he was dispossessed by B. A files a suit against B. B also does not have title. Title belongs to X. So, in a property of which title belongs to X, A was in possession, unauthorized. Let us take it, unauthorized possession. While so, by high-handed act, unauthorizedly, B dispossesses A. A can file a suit against B under Article 64. And he need only prove possession and dispossession, and that was within 12 years. Suppose X is the real owner and A is in unauthorized possession. While so, X, the real owner, dispossesses A. Dispossesses A, the trespasser. I will again say, X is the real owner, A was in unauthorized possession. While he was holding unauthorized settled possession, he was dispossessed by X, the real owner. What is that A can do? We have to see whether he can file a suit under Article 64 or under Article 65. Article 64, the suit will lie against the whole world except the true owner. You will not get under Article 64, that wording is not there. That is the principle settled all throughout, whether it is under Article 142 of the 1908 Act or Article 64 of the present Act. That is a principle. A person in unauthorized possession, if his possession is affected, his possession is disturbed by anybody, he can file a suit and get back possession, but not against the true owner. So, the trespasser who was in unauthorized possession, that is A, can file a suit under Article 64 against any person in the world except X, who is the true owner. Then, now we will examine whether A, the trespasser, unauthorized possession, whether he can file a suit under Article 65 against X, the real owner. No. Why? Because A has no title. He had only unauthorized possession, whereas X has title. So Article 65 will apply only when the suit is based on title. A has no title, whereas X, the defendant, has title. So a person who is in unauthorized possession is ousted by a real owner, then the person in unauthorized possession, that is A in this case, cannot file a suit against X, the real owner, either under Article 64 or under Article 65. Then whether he has got any other right, A has got any other right? Yes. If he was dispossessed by the true owner without any due process of law, and otherwise than in due course of law, then A can file a suit even against the real owner for getting back possession. That is, the suit must be filed within 6 months from the date of dispossession. Title will not be looked into. Whoever he is, whether if his act was high-handed, a decree can be passed even against a true owner. Let us take it that a decree was passed against X. Now again I will say, X is the real owner, A is in unauthorized possession, A had trespassed upon the property and A was in possession. While so X, the real owner, dispossessed A. A cannot file a suit against X either under Article 64 or under Article 65, but A can file a suit against X under Section 6 of the Specific Relief Act within 6 months from the date of dispossession. Let us take it that a suit under Section 6 was decreed. What will X, the real owner, do? He can file a suit on title. Section 6(4) of the Specific Relief Act specifically provides for it. Then what will happen? X files a suit against A. Now, A filed a suit stating that the real owner dispossessed me. I was in unauthorized possession, of course, but I was dispossessed by, without any due course of law, dispossessed by the real owner. He complains under Section 6 and the suit is decreed. That means A will be put back in possession. Then what will the real owner do? Real owner can file a suit based on title under Article 65. Then what will be the defense of A? Nothing. That suit will be simply decreed. This is the distinction. Article 64, Article 65, Section 6 of the Specific Relief Act. You have to make a thorough study of it. I will just put it in a nutshell. Article 64, based on previous possession and not on title. Article 65, based on title. Article 64, the limitation starts from the date of dispossession. Article 65, the limitation starts from the date when possession of the defendant becomes adverse. A title holder can file a suit under Article 65 whether, unlike the 1908 Act, whether dispossession is there or not, he can file a suit for possession under Article 65 and he need only prove title. The burden of proof is on the defendant to prove adverse possession. Now, if a person in possession his possession is disturbed by the real owner, that person in unauthorized possession can file a suit against the real owner only under Section 6 of the Specific Relief Act. And even if that suit is decreed, the real owner is entitled to file a suit under Article 65 against that A, the trespasser, and get back the possession of the property because he is the real owner. A suit under Article 64 can be filed against any person in the world except the true owner. These are all things which you should not forget. That is why I am repeating. So my viewers, I would like to have a thorough knowledge of these primary things. Not much, this much. Study, 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 understand clearly what the point is, and then keep it in your mind. Save it to your system. Yes. Then another decision, AER 1960, I am not citing much decisions, 2 or 3 decisions. AER 1967, Supreme Court 174. Effective possessory title, effective possession is necessary. By effective possession it is meant actual physical possession or possession through a tenant. Constructive possession is also enough. Then 1988 1 Kerala Law Times 886. Plaintiff failing to prove his proprietary title but proving his prior possession is entitled to recover possession if the defendant is found to be a trespasser. Person having possessory title can protect such title from invasion by trespassers. Such possessory title can be invoked against the whole world except the true owner. This is a principle which we have stated. Please read that decision as well. And also I will cite one more decision. 1987 1 Kerala Law Times 213. Philip and others versus Scaria and others. It was held that it is not necessary for the plaintiff to establish his possession for the statutory period. The position is that as between two persons who are unable to make out a valid title, the person who was having possession prior to the dispossession is really entitled to have his property restored to him from the trespasser. A trespasser does not have any right whatsoever to dispossess a person in possession. A trespasser cannot take the stand that the person whom he had thrown out from the property had no proprietary title, and consequently the least concerned with any interest in the property. Please read that judgment. Then there was a difference of opinion as to whether Article 142 of the 1908 Act, which corresponds to Article 64 of the present Act, was confined to suits for possession on the ground of possessory title, or whether it was applicable to all cases of dispossession, whether the plaintiff was suing merely on his possessory title or on his proprietary title also. Under Article 142 of the 1908 Act, suit for possession based on dispossession. That was it. Now it has been clarified that it is suit based on possession, previous possession, and not on title. There was a confusion under the Article 142 whether a person who was having title was dispossessed, whether Article 142 applies or Article 144 applies. Article 144 corresponds to Article 65 of the present Act. Now it was made clear there was a difference of opinion as to whether Article 142 was confined to suits for possession on the ground of possessory title, or whether it was applicable to all cases of dispossession, whether the plaintiff was suing merely on his possessory title or on his proprietary title also. The general trend of opinion was that the article, that is Article 142, would apply to all cases of dispossession, whether the plaintiff sued on possessory or proprietary title. The contrary view was that Article 64 applies only to suits on possessory title and could not apply to suits on proprietary title. Article 64 of the new Act specifically says, for possession of immovable property based on previous possession and not on title, when the plaintiff while in possession of the property has been dispossessed. So that confusion which was available under the 1908 Act, what was the confusion? Dispossession took place. Whether the person who was dispossessed was having only possessory title, or whether the dispossession was there in the case of where the plaintiff was having proprietary title also. Title holder is dispossessed, whether Article 142 applied. So the one view was that whatever may be, whether it is possessory title or proprietary title, when there was dispossession, Article 142 applies. When there was no dispossession, Article 145 applies. There was a set of contrary view also. We need not go to that. We are now discussing it only to properly understand the scope of Article 64 and 65. 65 applies to suits for possession based on title, even though the plaintiff was dispossessed. Therefore, the cardinal difference between Article 64 and 65 is that the former relates to suits based on possessory title and dispossession by the defendant, while the latter is a suit based on title and does not matter in such case whether the plaintiff was dispossessed or not. See the difference? 64 to apply must be plaintiff suing on possessory title. He was in possession and he was dispossessed, and that was within 12 years. Article 65, it is based on title. There it does not matter whether the defendant dispossessed him or whether he discontinued in possession. No matter. That is not a relevant criterion at all. Whether the plaintiff has the title, plaintiff is the title holder, he has proved title, then the whole burden shifts to the defendant to prove that he has perfected title by adverse possession. So that is a difference, cardinal difference. That made a lot of ocean change in the litigation, and it was a good change in the 1963 Act. AIR 1965 Supreme Court 875. Please note that judgment. I do not have the name of that case. Supreme Court held, AIR 1965 Supreme Court 875. Supreme Court held that a suit for possession based on title without any allegation of dispossession was governed by Article 144. In that case, what was the view of the Supreme Court? Supreme Court held that a suit for possession based on title without any allegation of dispossession was governed by Article 144, that is present Article 65. In that case, the suit was for declaration of title and the plaintiff asserted that he was in possession. There was no dispossession. Then Article 65, that is Article 144 of the old Act, would apply. But an alternative relief was claimed that he should be put in possession if it is found that he should be deemed to have been dispossessed by reason of earlier proceedings under the CRPC. Defendant did not deny it, but claimed that he has acquired occupancy rights. Neither party alleged a dispossession or a discontinuance of possession of the plaintiff. Held that Article 144, that is present Article 65, applied and the case must proceed on the defendant's plea, that is adverse possession. Under the present Act, all suits for possession based on title will be governed by Article 65, whether dispossession was there or not. Now, another decision, AIR 1967 Supreme Court 487. 1967 Supreme Court 487. Sued by plaintiff on the basis of title as manager of certain property for ejectment of the defendants as their servants. Allegation that the defendants have started denying plaintiff's title and as such he did not want to keep them in service. Plea of bar of limitation under Article 142 cannot apply since defendant's possession was permissive. Article 144 applies. That is the present Article 65. Next, suit under Article 64 should be filed within 12 years of the date of dispossession. These are all repetition to some extent. Please bear with me, even if there is repetition, it is for good. Suit based on proprietary title come under Article 65, even though the plaintiff was dispossessed. In such cases, the mere lapse of 12 years from the date of dispossession will not make the suit time-barred unless the defendant can prove that he has been in adverse possession continuously for a period of 12 years before the suit. In suits under Article 64, the period of limitation starts from the date of dispossession, while in suits under Article 65, the limitation period commences from the possession of the defendant becomes adverse to the plaintiff. Under the old Act, Article 142, I will read one by one it is not necessary that you must note, just to understand the difference. The plaintiff while in possession had been dispossessed or discontinued in possession, and he sues for possession. He has to prove that he had the title to possession, whether a possessory or a proprietary title, which was superior to that of the defendant, and that his dispossession or discontinuance in possession maybe was within 12 years. In other words, he has to prove that he was in possession within 12 years. This is the position even if the plaintiff proved his title to the property. In several cases, courts even refused to examine the documents of title of the plaintiff on the ground that he had not proved dispossession within 12 years. See the difficulty. I file a suit against you on the basis of my title. I have got clear title under the old act. I have clear title. You say that you need not say anything. I have to prove that I was dispossessed within 12 years. I do not prove, I fail to prove that I was in possession within 12 years. Then my suit will be dismissed on that short ground, and the court will not look into my title, will not decide anything. See the plight of the litigant. So it was so technical, so on a slippery ground of proving possession. That has been done away with now, very, very effectively, and to the public good. Article 144, the plaintiff has to prove that he is the owner of the property under old act, that he is the owner of the property, that the defendant's entry into possession was not in contravention of his title, but derivative, permissive or otherwise, consistent with his title. Now, there is not, under the 1963 Act, not much change. Even under the present Act, in cases under Article 64, the onus is on the plaintiff to prove dispossession took place within 12 years. That is based on previous possession, not on title. Similarly, in cases coming under Article 65, the onus will be on the defendant to prove that he was in adverse possession. Under the old Act, Article 142 applied to all cases of dispossession and discontinuance of possession, even in cases where the suit was filed by the true owner. That is a distinction. Under the old Act, when dispossession is alleged, whether the suit is filed by a trespasser who was in unauthorized possession or by a true owner, he has to prove that he was dispossessed within 12 years, or in other words, he has to prove that he was in possession within 12 years. Therefore, even in such cases, the plaintiff was bound to prove dispossession within 12 years. Under the 1963 Act, suit for possession based on title comes under Article 65, under which limitation runs from the time when the defendant's possession becomes adverse to the plaintiff, and not from the time when the plaintiff was dispossessed under Article 64. Therefore, under the present Act, in a suit for possession based on title, the onus is no longer on the plaintiff to prove that his dispossession took place within the period of limitation. It is not necessary for the plaintiff to prove in a title suit, that is under Article 65, to prove that he was dispossessed within 12 years. He need only prove his title. It is for the defendant to prove that he has perfected title by adverse possession. Article 64 applies to immovable property alone. Article 65 applies in the case of immovable property or any interest there. The interest on immovable property referred to in Article 65 must be such as is capable of being enjoyed by acts of ownership, because unless it is so, there cannot be any adverse possession of such interest. So, any interest therein means not any monetary claim or anything like that. It must be capable of being enjoyed by acts of ownership, because unless it is so, there cannot be any adverse possession of such interest. Under the old Act also, the possession was the same. Under Article 142 is limited to suits for possession of immovable property, and Article 144 includes, in addition to suits for possession of immovable property, suits for possession of interest in immovable property. That was the distinction. What is interest in immovable property? Right to collect assessment of lands, right to occupancy of tenant, right to water course, right to collect rent in the property, right to graze cattle on the land of another. These are all the incidents of, see, the interest in immovable property. Now section 6 of the Specific Relief Act, which I have said, I need not explain it again and break your head. That is to some extent. See, section 6 is this: even if a title holder, if he disturbs the possession of even a trespasser, trespasser can file a suit against the title holder under section 6 of the Specific Relief Act. But he cannot file a suit under article 64 or 65. 64 because he is filing the suit against the real owner, he cannot do. 65, the trespasser cannot have title, therefore he cannot. This is the distinction. So these are all the points which we have to take care of. I have put it in a nutshell. Only my endeavor is only to see that you are aware of these principles. Then detailed study you have to make by reading the commentaries. Any better commentaries you may read. Say whenever you read, it is always good. Now with this we complete the principles of limitation lecture series. Thank you very much, the viewers. I am indebted to all the viewers, and various viewers have demanded that CPC must be restored. That is, I must come back to CPC. Of course, there are several areas which I have not touched in episodes 81 to 82. I will deal with it after 2 weeks. A break of 2 weeks is necessary. I have got some personal matters. I will come to you after 2 weeks, 10 days or 2 weeks. Then another request, I must deal with the Specific Relief Act, Evidence Act, CRPC, IPC and all those things. I will do it if I get time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, thank you.